What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC and Mr. Sakurai, as just a few hours ago, the final ever Famitsu column interview was released and translated. And the Famitsu magazine is a special magazine that comes out in Japan, and every month or so they've always had a special interview series with Sakurai where he's talked about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and developing the DLC and the game, and it's been going on for a long time now. But of course, with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate finally wrapping up everything now, the final ever version of the Famitsu interview with Sakurai has come out, and so this is kind of a big one. There's a lot of stuff here. In fact, this one was so big that they actually put Sakurai on the cover of the magazine, and Sakurai himself actually got a copy of this magazine as well. He tweeted about it on his Twitter with the picture, so it's just kind of nice to see like this is going to be like the big final finale of the Famitsu interview series, and maybe there will be another series kind of in the future with Sakurai when he's working on another project, but for the time being this is definitely going to be the last one for a while. So it's a big one, and there's a lot of cool things in here to the point where I'm actually going to have to make this into a two-part video series. The first one here is just going to be about all the DLC characters, as Sakurai has actually given more insight on every single DLC and kind of some of the ideas and things that they were planning for them behind the scenes. So I find it really interesting, and I do want to talk to you guys about it and give you guys my thoughts. But part 2, which I'll make a video about once we get the full translation, is going to be more about Sakurai himself, where he's talking more about kind of his plans for the future of Super Smash Bros, what a potential future game might be like, as well as kind of his plans for the future as well. So that's going to be more focused on Sakurai, and I'll make a video about that and give you guys my thoughts once we have the full translation. Now, I will have the thread linked below in the description if you guys want to read along with me, but the first thing that it says here is that Sakurai starts off by stating that the time in between projects is the most peaceful. He can do whatever he likes, and he mentions that he wants to go on a trip, and honestly, I'm really happy for him. I mean, right now he's kind of in his break period from finishing Super Smash Bros. To kind of waiting until he has like another brand new big project to work on. And I really hope that he takes that time to just kind of relax and kind of go on a vacation or do whatever he wants, because he has been so busy for so long. A lot of people really kind of forget that he kind of was starting on developing Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and the Wii U, which he mentions was kind of one of the hardest points in his life, because that was basically working on 2 different games at the same time. So that was really hard for him. And then immediately after that, he had to work on Smash 4 DLC, which was awful. And then right on top of that, he started having to work on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate right after that DLC wrapped up and planning that game. And then after that, he had Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC on top of that with the Fighters Passes. So he's just kind of been working on Smash Bros. For so many years now, if you think about it. I mean, I'm sure like Smash 4 came out in 2014, but he probably started working on it like in 2011, 2012. So if we're going from 2012 to 2021, that's almost a decade now that he's been basically just developing Smash Bros. So he really deserves a big, long, extended break. And so I'm happy for him, and I really hope that he takes the time off and goes on like a long vacation or something, because he definitely deserves it. The next thing that they started talking about was the Smash Ballot, which happened back with Smash 4's DLC in 2015, and Sakurai said that there were a ton of votes from all over the world. However, Sora quickly became the most requested character of all time. And then they talked about more with Sora's concept, where Sakurai says, in Kingdom Hearts, Sora doesn't really fight on the ground that often, he mostly fights in the air. I wanted to replicate that in Smash. For other DLC fighters, they don't have aerial combat, so I figured that we should prioritize that with Sora. Sakurai even said that in fact the original plan for Smash Ultimate was that there was going to be some consideration for adding smash attacks in the air. However, it was too complicated, so it didn't get added. I think that aerial combat is important, but the options for aerial attacks are quite limited. The more skilled the player is, it seems the more that they use aerial attacks. He said that he decided against it because he felt that Smash Ultimate was able to keep the balance between casual and hardcore players. Sora's concept was also to make aerial fighting fun even for casual players. So that's already really kind of cool, just hearing Sakurai's thought process for how they added Sora into the game and how his playstyle should be, and it makes a lot of sense with how they made sure his aerial combat is focused because of like Kingdom Hearts, but also at the same time making sure that it's kind of a balance for casual and hardcore players, because Sakurai knows that this was the most requested character of all time. So if they made the most requested character with Sora being such a technical and hard character to use, it would have upsetted a lot of kind of the fans who just wanted to use him because they really wanted him in the game. So I think that he did a really good choice with that, but it's also just very interesting to kind of learn about the things that they considered, like being able to use smash attacks in the air. That sounds super cool, and I really kind of wonder how exactly they could have implemented it and how crazy it could have been. Then Sakurai also mentions about Sora's reveal trailer where he says, "I was also in charge of the Sora reveal trailer. Once I read over the guidelines that were provided by Disney, I came up with the plan in about 90 minutes. That's actually insanely impressive because I think that the Sora reveal trailer was incredibly well done with how they kind of had like the fire, and it called back to like the very first trailer that revealed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with like the inkling and the Smash Ball in its eye. So I think it was just really cool how they did that, and the whole concept of the trailer was really cool with how everybody kind of froze up and became statues, and then Mario walked to the fire and picked up the Keyblade and threw it, and then Sora came out. It was just really well done. And so to hear that Sakurai came up with this entire plan for the trailer in 90 minutes, like in an hour and a half to come up with that really cool trailer, it is very impressive to see. He also mentions that in the original concept, Mario would have swung the Keyblade in order to open the door for Sora to come out, but because only Keyblade wielders can use a Keyblade, it was changed to the current form where he just throws the Keyblade instead. And so I do think that it's kind of cool how he even paid attention to things like that from Kingdom Hearts. So now we move into every single DLC character, where the first one here with Joker, it says here, Joker's concept was a difficult time for Sakurai as the base game was just being finished. In addition, Sakurai had to decide on the general plan for DLC like the graphics and animations. Arsene fighting with Joker also doubled the work. For Smash Fighters, Sakurai poses all of the figures for their special moves, and because of Arsene, Joker was posed with 2 figures, so for all of the attacks they kind of had to come up with 2 figures for what it would look like, so you can kind of see here with the image that Sakurai used in the interview. Then moving on to Hero, it says here for Hero, Sakurai was excited to have Dragon Quest in Smash. At first he thought that Hero wouldn't be voiced, but then in Dragon Quest XI a voice was added, so they worked together with Square Enix to include the official voices and names for each hero. Now with Banjo and Kazooie, Sakurai says here in the Fighter's Ballot, Banjo and Kazooie followed Sora, so I'm guessing this means that Banjo and Kazooie were actually the second most requested DLC fighters, which is really incredible to see because this is including the votes from all over the world, so that's insane. And then it says here their concept was 2 fighting as 1. Wonder Wing was a move that's unique to them, so it was the only move that can be used up to 5 times, and because of that it's very strong. He also mentions that Banjo and Kazooie also features the first arrangement from outside Japan with Grant Kirkhope, who also worked on the original music for the game. Then the interviewer actually talked about how the reveal trailer was really cool because of how it was similar to King K. Rool's, because if you guys remember that reveal trailer, Banjo and Kazooie basically had the same one with Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong sleeping, and Sakurai says it was not only enjoyable, but it also helped the cost of the production because the reveal trailers are more expensive than people imagine, and obviously it makes a ton of sense. There's a lot of computer graphics and CGI and stuff that's going into those, and so because it's kind of reusing a lot of the stuff from the King K. Rool trailer, I imagine the cost for that one probably wasn't as bad. Then next up we've got here Terry Bogard, where it says here Bandai Namco had produced his reveal trailer. There was a scene with geese that was taken from Fatal Fury 3. The person in charge of that trailer also worked on the game Genpai Tomaden, and then Sakurai basically says that his goal was to make the coolest Terry Bogard ever. There might have been some even younger fans who didn't know Terry, but that wasn't important. It was vital that they could understand the character through Smash. And I'll be honest with you guys, I actually didn't know who Terry was, but he is a pretty cool character, and I'd actually say that he probably has my favorite stage out of all the DLC characters because of how you can crash people through the walls and stuff. It's a really cool and enjoyable character, and I do like using him. Alright, and then moving on to the final character of Fighters Pass 1 with Byleth, Sakurai mentions that with Byleth, when development started on them, 3 Houses wasn't even released yet. Even with a development build though, Sakurai took a lot of time to get through the game. And when Sakurai played, it was top secret, other employees couldn't even see his screen, and he wasn't allowed to bring that build of the game home with him. So that's actually kind of cool how even before 3 Houses came out, which was I think like July of 2019, that's when Sakurai was like, before that even came out, Sakurai was playing that game, kind of learning about the characters and what the game was like, and secretly working on Byleth for Smash Bros. It really kind of makes me think that maybe if there was some more time, these would have been characters that may have even appeared in the base game itself, so it's just kind of really cool to see. Alright, moving on to Fighters Pass 2 with Min Min, Sakurai mentions that Springman was an assist trophy because he couldn't make it into the base game as a fighter. But for the DLC character, Sakurai felt that long arms were the key to making sure a fighter feels like that they were from ARMS, and so because of that, it's probably why they decided on picking Min Min. I'd imagine if they picked somebody like Twin Toe because she uses her hair, and other characters who use like different things that aren't their arms, it wouldn't have made a ton of sense, so in the end, Min Min was a popular character. Even the person who is behind ARMS, Mr. Yubuki, said to pick Min Min, so I guess Sakurai just decided, you know what, Min Min makes a ton of sense. Now for Steve and Alex, Sakurai mentions that adding code for blocks on every stage was quite tough and took a lot of time, which makes a ton of sense because in order to add blocks for every single stage with Steve and Alex when you play as them, you basically had to make the entire stage like a grid so that you could place a number of blocks, so that took a lot of time. And then he also mentions that Enderman caused some trouble because he blended in with a lot of the dark backgrounds, and so Sakurai actually had a lot of fun making multiple quizzes, asking staff where Enderman was located on various screenshots, so that actually sounds kind of fun, and it's kind of cool that they had a little bit of fun with that. Then with Sephiroth, Sakurai says here, with Sephiroth, his appearance in Advent Children was an important base, and Sakurai was worried about the reach of his sword, but he figured if Min Min was okay, Sephiroth could be doable. He was also worried a little bit about balancing, but he wanted to make sure that Sephiroth still left a strong impression, and I definitely think that he did a pretty good job with that. I mean, one of his weak sides is definitely that he's a light character. He can get launched pretty easily and kind of die at an easy percentage, but of course the wing is there to make him a very powerful character with an extra jump and just doing more damage and stuff, so it's actually kind of cool, and I do think that he is a very strong character in the game. Moving next to my personal favorite DLC characters, Pyra and Mithra, Sakurai mentioned that he wanted Rex to appear with them at first, but it didn't work due to the hardware limitations of the Nintendo Switch. Their costumes were pretty detailed, so just the two of them pushed the game already to its limits, and Smash Ultimate needed to stay at a consistent 60 FPS. Then Sakurai also mentions that having Pyra and Mithra appear in an 8-player Smash was difficult. If Sakurai had to pick one, he would have picked Pyra, but there were several other considerations to make the fighter work, like one that was just Rex with Pyra sometimes, Pyra with Rex sometimes, just Pyra, etc. But in the end, they decided on picking Pyra and Mithra and being able to switch between them, which is honestly the best possible outcome, and I'm actually very happy that happened because if you guys didn't know, I'm a huge Mithra fan, so having playable Mithra in this game just made me very happy. And so while we did get the best timeline, it would have made a ton of sense if Pyra was the only playable character because of course she is the one that you meet kind of early into the game, and she's also on the cover of the game itself. Then moving on to Kazuya, Sakurai says here for Kazuya, Sakurai wanted to capture the 3D fighting game spirit. If the fighter wasn't Kazuya with his devil gene, Tekken wouldn't work in Smash. For example, if it was Heihachi, what would be his up B? Nothing? Sakurai felt that it was really fortunate to have settled with Kazuya, and that makes a ton of sense because of how he's able to get like the wings and able to fly for his recovery, so it's actually a very perfect Tekken character to add. Now because he already talked about Sora earlier, the last couple of things here are just about Smash itself. So the first thing that he says here is for the Sakurai Presents videos, they came up with these after Joker's introduction video cost them a ton of money and time to make. And some of you guys might not even remember this, but for Joker, we actually didn't have a Sakurai Presents presentation where Sakurai like showed off Joker and talked about him, but rather there was a very special video that came out with Joker, and it was actually very highly produced with a lot of animations and stuff, and I'm pretty sure this video even had like Morgana's voice actor in it and stuff, so it was a very highly produced video, and so Sakurai mentions that that basically took them a ton of money to make. And so then he mentions that Nintendo came up with the idea of having Sakurai presenting the fighters himself because each fighter would introduce something unique, and so it was important for them to have these presentations, and I actually really like that this happened because it was nice to see Sakurai appear in them, and they definitely have some unique elements and kind of cool little things that Sakurai added, and I loved hearing his little tidbits about the games and just other things while making them. So I feel like instead of having like a dedicated video presentation just about each character, having Sakurai presenting all of them just made them a lot more fun. In fact, even for like presentations where I wasn't so big on the characters, I would still show up and watch the presentation live just because I wanted to see Sakurai talk about them, and it was just interesting to hear his thoughts. In terms of balancing with the game, Sakurai says that it was important to keep the features that made each character unique and not to eliminate their weaknesses outright. And Sakurai believed that it was best to not eliminate the character's strong points, just add other weaknesses to compensate. So I think that that's a cool kind of way to have like different weaknesses for each character but still having their strong suits. It's actually a very interesting type of game design, and honestly with kind of how Smash Bros works, it is a very difficult game to balance with like 80 so characters in this game now and so many different matchups and combinations. It's very difficult to being able to create a game like this that is completely balanced, and while I do feel like that there are some characters like Pikachu that are still insanely broken, there's definitely still some balancing, and it is a pretty fair game for the most part. And then the last thing that it says here is that Sakurai and the team had to imagine a wide range of players and playstyles, and Smash has always been made to cater towards a wide range of players, so that it was important to try out various playstyle scenarios. He said that there is no right way to play Smash and that you can play just however you want as long as you have fun, and that's completely true. While a ton of people love to have competitive games with like, Final Destination, no items, it's really fun to have games like that, but at the same time there's also many people who love having items on and Smash Balls and things like that, so it's really important to make sure that the game is still fun for every single player, and I do think that Sakurai did a very good job with kind of how he developed the game, making sure that it appeals to the competitive side but also the casual side. And so yeah, there you go guys, that's all the information that we have right now about this Sakurai interview, and it was just kind of nice to see kind of more information about behind the scenes for how they decided all of these DLC characters and just more information about the game. But remember, this is only just part 1, as we've got part 2, which is more about Sakurai himself and kind of the future of Smash Bros, which is being translated, so I'm going to be making a video on that as well. But if you guys enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know how you guys feel about this. Definitely be sure to let me know what are your thoughts about these characters and kind of Sakurai's thought process, so it'd be kind of nice to see. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Smash Bros content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Smash Bros and Pokemon and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.